Hello everyone, this is Nitpicking Nerd and I just watched the new episode of The Mandalorian and I thought it was great as always. And you know how previously they did like a homage to Wild West movies? Well, this time it's like a homage to pirate movies because they go down to this water planet where the Mon Calamari live, that species of Admiral Akbar, as well as those squid face people. I forget their names. I'm not a huge trivia guy regarding Star Wars, but I do recognize all the species which I saw in the Star Wars movies and cartoons and all of that, and I do remember that they were on the same planet. I think in that old Clone Wars cartoon there was an episode set on that planet showing that they lived on the same planet, and the only thing missing in this episode is that they only show them above the surface, and so I'm kind of curious to see how they live under the water because they are obviously designed as underwater creatures and yet we only see them on the surface, but at least we got to see that in one of those cartoons, and so it was still kind of cool. And it's funny how they made it all look as if they're all ancient sea people and all of that, so it's kind of like a homage to all that kind of stuff, and those pirates and all of that. And the squid face people kind of remind me of that guy from Pirates of the Caribbean 2, who also had a tentacle beard and all of that. But I think there is a way to explain why this planet looks so primitive and so ravaged. Maybe because a lot of Mon Calamari, like General Akbar and others, were a big part of the rebellion against the Empire. Maybe the Empire punished them by destroying parts of their home planet. That might explain why this planet looks so poor, and so my guess would be that maybe the Empire destroyed large parts of this planet as punishment for the rebellion, and so it's only now just recovering, so that could explain it. I wish it was mentioned in the episode. And I don't remember how to pronounce the name of that squid species on the planet, but it's kind of similar to my own species. As you can see, I'm a squid person myself, but I come from a different planet, which is called Decapod 10. I immigrated to Earth at the age of 6. And so as a squid person myself, I really sympathize with the people that they are showing us here. The only thing I didn't like in this episode is that they showed as if all the squid people are evil and cannot be trusted. And I'm here to tell you that not all of us are like that. A lot of squid people are really nice people, even though I come from a different planet, but they are very similar to me. So just because you saw some evil squid people in this episode, it doesn't mean that all squid people in the galaxy are all like that. So please keep that in mind. So it was fun to see another water planet with a similar species to my own. So all of it was great to see, but the character of the Mandalorian himself is often kind of stupid in many episodes. But you know, if he wasn't, then he wouldn't be getting into so much trouble, and then it would be too easy. So, you know, I like the fact that he's not overpowered, that he has a lot of difficulties and often needs help, and that makes it more exciting and more tenseful. But he fell for the same kind of trap twice, and that makes him look kind of stupid. In general, I like the fact that he's not overpowered in the show, that he often needs help, that he cannot simply solve any problem by himself, because that would be boring. And this way, because he's kind of stupid and he falls for tricks and traps, that makes it kind of more challenging. And he kind of gets saved in the last second by other Mandalorians. And I think that was fine, except the fact that it happened twice in a row, so that makes Mando look kind of stupid. And also they're kind of retconning that whole idea of the Mandalorians never taking off their helmets, which I thought was kind of stupid in the previous season. Like, it's kind of an excuse never to show the actor's face, but it doesn't really make sense. So he can never eat in a restaurant, he can never eat in front of people, because that would require removing his mask, and he cannot do that, so we never see him eat. And so I also think the show maybe would have been better to see the actor's face once in a while, and we only got to see it in one scene so far. But I guess it's a clever way to kind of replace the actor without anyone noticing if they have to, so maybe it's a good idea. So those other Mandalorians follow kind of a different way of the Mandalorians, who don't cover their faces. They say that the cult that raised this Mando are more extremist, and that's why they follow all kinds of strange older ways which they don't follow. So I think it was nice to see their faces. You know, if they never took any of their masks off, that would make it kind of more boring in my opinion, so it was nice to see actual faces this time. And they're also starting to set up all kinds of very interesting epic stuff having to do with the rest of the galaxy. So this group are planning to retake their planet and all of that. And also I like the fact that when they talk about the Jedi, it's like the Jedi are a myth, and so that's kind of similar to how it was in the original trilogy. And it also makes the galaxy seem bigger, like people didn't hear about every single event that we saw in all the movies. Instead, it's like a distant rumor, and that kind of makes the galaxy seem like a bigger place. And I like the fact that they're setting up all these things, and we also have a cameo of that bad guy from the previous season with the dark saber, and they also talked about it. And so finally we get some progression in the bigger story of the galaxy, and so I like that. And there was a lot of cute moments with Yoda, especially when he saw those babies getting born from those eggs that he kept eating, so that was a nice scene. And there was also a funny scene earlier when he's given food by those squid people, and then the squid jumps on his face, and I really laughed at that, especially because in the previous episode there was that scene when Yoda was going into the chamber with the eggs, and one of the eggs was opening, and I kind of expected the facehugger to jump at him because that whole scene was really similar to Alien, and yet it never happened. And yet this episode he does get a squid jump on his face, and so I think I'll do a funny edit of that by mixing the two episodes together to make like an Alien parody with Baby Yoda. That should be funny, so that will be on my second channel, and I will give the link in the description and in the end of the video. So overall a really fun episode, I really enjoyed it. There was also a reference to Ahsoka from the Clone Wars, who I guess will show up later in this show as a live action character, and that will be very interesting to see how she will look like as a real person and not a cartoon. So this is really interesting, and so overall a really good episode as always with this show, so I highly recommend it and I enjoyed it. That's all I really have to say about it for today. So the only thing I didn't like is that they showed all the squid people as evil, and as a squid person myself, I feel a little bit offended by that, so that's the only thing I don't like. Okay, that's all for now, and I will see you all next time.